everyone. I'll be doing some pack openings today. Let me see. Come on, server. We're gonna do pack openings. I have a whole bunch saved up. And then we'll probably be doing some ranked. Let us start with the back end. Alright, that's pretty good. I don't know much about these sets. I know more of the recent ones, like Kamigawa going forward. And if there's actual people in here, we can possibly make a deck together. You guys can give suggestions. I'm mostly looking forward to the Kamigawa sets because I need them for a deck I already have. That's going to bring me all the way to the front every time. Oh boy. And I actually need a bunch of these for deck ideas. That's a good one to have. I need more of these for a deck. Anything that adds mana of any type will be good. Because I run a... I'll start bothering you if you want. What do stream rise? I'll look into it. And welcome. Rooster's good. War the Spark. Some good cards in here I think I need. So for anyone in here, what type of decks do you guys play? Or when this gets put onto YouTube, anyone in the comments, decks you play, decks you think I should play? Getting not commanders, planeswalkers. It's gonna be pretty good. You can make stuff with that. I typically play commander in real life, but in here I do historic rank. Because there's the point in doing anything but ranked. You get free stuff. Just get to a certain point, free stuff instantly. Well, not instantly. Spark double. That's good. Hello! Thank you for following. Sliver deck. I don't know if I have any slivers. Ooh, yeah, a deck I do want to make is a vehicle deck. Vehicle decks are fun. Enchanted Carriage. When enchanted carriage enters the battlefield, create a 2 1/1 white mouse creature tokens. You know, you're right. Are you at work still, or are you getting out of work soon type of deal? The adventures are pretty fun. Midnight Clock. Artifact. Create an hour counter on Midnight Clock at the beginning of each upkeep. Put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. When the 12-hour counter is put on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library and then draw 7 cards. Exile Midnight Clock. That's actually pretty cool. Unexplained vision. Is audio and everything good? Do I need to change anything? Oh yeah, and you're also my first follower. Congratulations. Wicked Wolf. I always like this set because of all the like fairy tale stuff for it, like Jack and the Beanstalk. I'm assuming this is the Three Little Pigs. Actually, I think there is an actual set that is Three Little Pigs. Not set, series of cards. And there's cool witch cards too. I didn't even look at which packs I was opening this one, because I'm so good at what I do. Dominable Will. Theros. Theros is good. Has all the bunch of gods that I hate. Why about them scope foes? Like, I think this main guy right here is the one I don't like playing against. But it could be another one. Temple of Deceit. Dual lands are pretty good. Yeah, excited to open these ones. Just got a whole bunch of these ones. I want to get a whole bunch of Wilds of Eldraine. But I might save up to do drafts. I have a token. 2 tokens. So we could do some drafts too, depending on how long I play. Gotta collect all the counter spells. Whirlwind of Thoughts. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. Right, and this is the Aquaria, a layer of... Didn't catch the last word. I think it's a behemoth. Fromland Felidar. Vigilance creature you control with Vigilance have tap 1, tap target creature. It's pretty good. I don't think I'd ever run that though, unless I was doing like a... I don't know what I would run that with. I don't have a lot of Vigilance cards. There's probably something that gives Vigilance. Yep, layer behemoths. Bliss of Thunder Raptor. Glimmer Bell. Hey, what are you? Wild card. Free wild cards are where it's at. 4 more packs until you earn a rare wild card. I need mythics, I think. Actually, they might be mostly rares I'm searching for. Prismite. Anything that taps for those is pretty good. I actually have a playmat that she made when I went to MagicCon this year. She has some good art. The playmat I have is it's like a kitsune mask, and it is foiled, which is pretty dope. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died this turn, draw a card. Pretty good. Hooded Blightfang. Death Touch. Whenever creature you control with Death Touch attacks, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. Whenever creature you control Death Touch deals damage to a Planeswalker, destroy that Planeswalker. That's actually really good. Just for the Planeswalker kill ability, because once Planeswalkers get rolling, it's a pain in the butt. Enchanted creature gets a 3/1 with flying. Nice. Infernal Scarring. +2, and when it dies, you draw a card. If there's any cards you want me to specifically look at that I don't start like naming once I pull them, let me know. Or if you want a certain pack, I have a whole bunch of them. And then I have some, so I can go in here and buy a few more packs if people want those. I got 12 commons, 10 uncommons, 4 rare, and 1 mythic. Vault, I have no idea what Vault does. I never looked into that stuff. One of you probably know. Gideon's Intervention. Enters the battlefield, choose a card name. Your opponent can't cast spells with that chosen name. Find all damage that we dealt to you. Permanents with controlled by sources with the chosen name. That's pretty good. Fetch lands. I need more fetch lands, actually. So this is good. Is that the only pack I had for that? Zendikar Rising. I had a whole draft booster box of this, and I have no idea where it went. It is either I left it at a game store and they took it, or it's somewhere in my house, but I have no idea where it is. Heck yeah. Boom. 2 mythic. What are the difference between you two? Can I not pull both of you up at once? Be great if you could click on this and show you both of them side by side. Sacrifice another creature, put 1/1 counter on Skyclave. 1 creature you don't control, when you control with 1/1 on it dies, draw a card. And it's a 3/3, and this is also 3/3. Looks like it might just be reducing the mana cost. This one's just a black, and then that's 2 generic and a black for it instead of the 3 and the 1. And this one, base camp, enters tapped, tapped for generic, or any 1 mana, suspended for any of the classes. This one does not come in tapped, which is pretty good. Cleric of Chill Depths. Whenever Cleric of the Chill Depths blocks a creature, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. That's pretty good. Cleansing Wildfire. Destroy target land. Land hate is a fun thing. We all love land hate. I played a guy yesterday where he would just, instead of destroying lands, he would take my lands. So I was left with like, at one point, 3 lands. The Raven's Warning. Keldheim. Keldheim's actually good. I want to collect more of the Keldheim set. Create a 1/1 Bluebird. Creature token with flying. You gain 2 life. Whenever one or more creature you control with flying deals combat damage to a player this turn, look at the player's hand and draw a card. You may put a card you own from outside the game on top of your library. Nico defies destiny. Gain 2 life for each foretold card you own in exile. Add white blue and get spend mana only to foretell cards or cast spells that have foretell, and then return target card with foretell from the graveyard to your hand. Another vehicle. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Whenever raiders carve attacks, look at the top card of your library. If it's a land, you may put it onto the battlefield tapped. Littering Forest, enchant land. Make it a snow land, and I'm gonna tap. Scroll adds an additional 1 color of any. That's good, but I think depending on what you're doing, the mana cost might be too high for this card. Forging the Tyrite Sword. Create a treasure token, search your library for a card named Halvar, God of Battle, or an equipment card, reel it and put it into your hand, then shuffle. Interesting. I don't know if I have Halvar. Actually, I probably don't. I think I only have had 1 set of this. Dungeons and Dragons. There's a lot of fun decks you can make with the Dungeons and Dragons. Valor Singer. Sylvan Shepherd. Shocking Grasp. -2, -0 until end of turn. Silver. Raven. Scry. Dungeon Venture. Another Mythic. So we got 13, 12, 4, 13. Delina. Wild Mage. Delina, Wild Mage attacks, choose target creature you control, then roll a d20. 1 out of 4, create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of the creature, except for its non-legendary, and has, at the end of the combat, exile this creature. 15 to 20, create 1 of those tokens, you may roll again. Alright, we got Manticore. Let's see the difference. Tailspike. When Manticore enters the battlefield, destroy target creature an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. Is it the 3/1 and 2/1? Looks like it's toughness on that one. Spike Pit Trap looks cool. Sacrifice Spike Pit Trap, choose target creature, then roll d20. Spike Pit Trap deals 5 damage to that creature. Or Spike Pit Trap deals 5 damage to that creature, and you create a token. A treasure token. Rhyme Shield, the Frost Giant. Nice. Let's see. Iron Golem. We got White Dragon. Ooh, I actually want to make a dragon deck. I think I have Tiamat already. So having this would be pretty good. White Dragon enters the battlefield, tap target creature, and opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step.
Music is powerful enough to inspire even the darkest minds.
Eliwick's Tumble Strum. Venture into the dungeon, then look at the top 6 cards of your library. Reveal a creature card from them, put it in your hand. If it's legendary, you can gain 3 life, and the rest at the bottom of the library. And then Emblem. Emblems are fun too. Creatures you control have trample and haste, and get +2/+2 for each differently named dungeon you have completed. Let's see. Venture into the dungeon. What is the difference? The loyalty cost for the emblem is different on that one. Varus, Silvery Moon Ranger. Varus. Is it Varus or Varus? Do people know? Probably doesn't matter. Reach, Ward 1. Whenever you cast a creature or planeswalker spell, venture into the dungeon. This ability triggers only once each turn. When you complete a dungeon, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token. On combined dungeon, Gloomstalker has Double Strike. Paladin Shield. Two more of these. Kick in the door. Put a 1/1 counter on the target creature. Skelter Swarming. Each skeleton you control has trample, attack, each combat fable, and gets a plus X +0, where X is the number of skeletons you control. Other skeletons you control. At the beginning of your end step, for a tapped 1/1 black skeleton creature token. If you create a creature die this turn, create 2 of these instead. So are any of you guys getting the Fallout decks? I'll be getting the, what's it called? It's the one with Mothman. I think it's Monstrosities is the name of it officially. Instrument of the Bards. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a harmony counter on Instrument of Bards. Tap 3 and 1 green. Search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to the number of harmony counters on the instrument. And put into your hand the card. If it's legendary, create a treasure token, then shuffle. Intellect Devourer. Target opponent discards a card. If mana from a treasure was spent, cast this spell. Instead, that player reveals their hand and you choose a non-land card from it. And then player discards that card. The rolls are fun too. When swarming goblins enters the battlefield, roll a d20. Create a 1/1 goblin creature token if it's 1 through 9, 10 through 19. Create 2, and then 20 is 3. Next we have Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Duress. Different art. Duress. Target opponent reveals a hand and non-creature. Hedge Witch's Mask. Equipped creature gets a +1/+1. Equipped creature can't be blocked by creatures with power 4 or greater. Equip 2. Unblinking Observer. I've seen this card a few times. Add 1 blue. Spend this mana only to pay a disturb cost and cast an instant or sorcery spell. Flip the switch. Counter target spell unless the controller pays 4. Create 2/2 black zombie creature token with decay. We got overgrown farmlands. We're getting there. Should I skip this? Come back to it? I think I might. Settle the Wilds. You got Ravenous Pursuit. Target creature you control deals damage equal to the power of creature you control. Angel of Unity. Whenever Angel of Unity enters the battlefield, or you cast a party spell, choose a party creature card in your hand. It perpetually gets a +1/+1. City Stalker Connoisseur. When a City Stalker enters the battlefield, target opponent discards a non-land card with greatest mana value among the cards in their hand. Then create a blood token. Binding Geist. It's a 3/1 enchantment aura. Looks like its mana cost and attack went down. So the alchemy. Belligerent Guest. When Belligerent Guest deals combat damage to a player, create a blood token. This interesting art. Creature token gets target creature gets 3/3 and gains reach until end of turn. Untap it. Aim for the head. Exile target zombie. Target opponent exiles 2 cards from their hand. We got Predatory Sludge. As Predatory Sludge enters the battlefield, choose a permanent you don't control. When the chosen permanent is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, conjure a card named Predator Sludge into your hand. So it's just stacking. It's pretty cool. This is just showing the same thing as in that's the conjure for it. Innistrad Crimson Vow. Steel-clad Spirit. Lantern of the Lost. When Lantern of the Lost enters the battlefield, exile target card from graveyard. We got Ava Brook Caretaker. And then Hollow Henge Huntmaster. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put two 1/1 counters on another target creature you control. Then Hexproof. Other permanents you control have Hexproof. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put two 1/1 counters on each creature you control. That's pretty good. I'm going to skip that one for now. Tower Worker. Oh. 2. Thorn of Amethyst. Non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast. Bonus sheet. I don't know what that is, but it's pretty cool. Rusko's Clockmaker. Oh, does he... Nice, that's pretty cool. So when you play him, he makes the clock tower. Oh, cool. And then each opponent loses 1 life, and they gain 1 life for each clock. You can just keep... Ooh, this actually be kind of interesting for a ninjutsu deck, where you can bring them in and out. That seems like it'll be fun. Let's see. There's pretty cool ones in here. Like this one. I like this one. Adds generic. If you control creatures named Mine Worker and Power Plant Worker, add 3 instead. I think I have Power Plant Worker. Lucas, Lowland, Ravenous, Gigamole. Another bonus sheet. Chromatic Star. 1 tap. Sacrifice Chromatic Star. Add 1 mana of any color. When Chromatic Star is put into the battlefield, or graveyard from the battlefield, now draw a card. Now what are you? Norn's a Disassembly. Sacrifice a historic permanent. Seek a historic card. I like artifact decks, they're pretty cool. When Scrapwork Rager enters the battlefield, you draw a card, and you lose 1 life. Power Plant Worker, that'll be good. I might not own the other one then. Power Plant Marker gets +2/+2 until end of turn. If you control creatures named Vine Worker and Tower Worker, you put +1/+1 counters on Power Plant Worker instead. Actually, only once this turn. That's pretty good, and they become counters instead of just the end of turn. So initial cost of this spell: tap 2 untap artifacts, creatures, and or lands you control. Founder Worker. Artifact spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. I have this one in real life, I believe. Richlu Headmaster. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. When you do, target artifact card in your graveyard perpetually gains. This spell costs 1 less to cast. If it's a creature or vehicle card, it perpetually gets +2/+2. Put it into your library second from the top. Coastal Bulwark. It's pretty good. Coastal Bulwark is 2+2+0 as long as you control an island. I like the art for it. Air Marshal. We've got Millstone. Target player mills 2 cards. Makes sense. Millstone, mill cards. Seek a card with mana value 2 or less and cards mana value 3 or greater. Discard those cards at the beginning of your next end step. Garthian Uprooting. Put a 2/1/1 counters on each X for each X target lands you control. Then each become a 0/0 elemental creature with reach, haste, and when this creature leaves the battlefield, conjure a card named Forest onto the battlefield, tapped. There's still lands. Another Bulwark, Patch Plate Resolute, Liquid Metal Coating. Target permanent becomes an artifact in addition to its other types until end of turn. Someone's team. Search the top third of your library, round it up for a card, put that card into your hand, and then shuffle. What we got here? Antiquarian. When Philology Antiquarian enters the battlefield, conjure a duplicate of another target non-token creature, or artifact you control. Put it into your graveyard, then duplicate perpetually gains on Earth. Hercule Prodigy. Got another Clockmaster and Adaptive Automaton. It's Adaptive Automaton. Automaton, not automation. Enters the battlefield. Choose a creature type. Adaptive Automaton is the chosen type in addition to its other types. Other creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. We got more Brother Wars. The prototypes are pretty cool too. I like the prototype for it. Another Evolving Wilds. But this one's Brothers War one. Dreams of Steel and Oil. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an artifact or creature card from it, then choose an artifact or creature card from their graveyard. Exile the chosen cards. Hercules Final Meditation. As long as it's not your turn, this spell costs 3 or more to cast. Return all non-land permanents to their owner's hands. End the turn. Exile all spells and abilities from the stack, excluding this card. Interesting. Let's see. Sibling rivalry. Gain control of target artifact or creature until end of turn. Untap it. Gains haste. And then Power Stone. Burnished Heart. I have the Kamigawa art for this, which is like a baby deer. It's pretty good. Ooh, Mishra, Tamer of Makbawa. Permanent control have ward, sacrifice a permanent. Each artifact card in your graveyard has unearth. I believe my friend runs this as his commander in one of his decks, or at least did. I think he changed it to one of the Transformer cards. Don't remember exactly which one. One of my friends loves Phyrexia stuff. Makes a toxic deck. He's a little stinky head for it. What do we got here? Boom. Contagion Dispenser. Enters the battlefield. Proliferate. When you proliferate during your turn, draft a card from Contagion Dispenser's spellbook. This ability triggers once each turn. Ooh, interesting. I gotta make a toxic deck just to bully him. For Miradon. This equipment enters the battlefield. Create a 2/2 red rebel. Nice. Another vehicle. Meldweb Strider enters the battlefield with an oil counter on it. Remove an oil counter from Meldweb, and it becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. So that it's free crewing, or one free crew at least. If it's free, you can just keep stacking. Niddling Host. When slime dies, conjure card. That's the same thing onto your graveyard, perpetually double the power, toughness of the slime, and that card. Then shuffle them into your library. Nice. Alchemy cards are pretty interesting. Vexor's Roach. When it deals combat damage to a player, insects you control, and insect cards in your graveyard and in library perpetually gain +1 toxic. I wish this was a real card. And just bully him with this. What do we got here? Blightwing Whelp. Flying, toxic 1. Haste until end of turn. Comp damage to a player. Seek a card with a mana value equal to number of poison counters that player has. Then normal Phyrexia. Ossification. I've seen people use this one a lot. Bring the ending. Counter target spell unless the controller pays 2. Corrupt did counter that spell instead of its controller has 3 or more poison counters. Varan, Executor of Thane. Whenever one or more creatures you control dies, each opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. This ability triggers only once each turn. Doctrine Attendant. Enters the battlefield, you may return another permanent you control to its owner's hand. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1 and can't block. It's basic toxic stuff. What do we got now? Browse packs. Contains one mythic card. Opening packs earns you wild cards. Oh, is it just once you collect cards, it'll open the vault, I guess? Let's see. We got 21 common, 21 common, 20 uncommon, 8 rare, and 4 mythic. Fleshless Gladiator. Tamiyo's Logbook. Draw a card. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each other artifact you control. The Filigree Silex. Put another calendar on the Filigree. Then sacrifice Filigree. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value equal to the number of oil counters. Remove 10 oil counters from among permanents you control and sacrifice the Filigree. It deals 10 damage to any target. Duelist of Deep Faith. Toxic. First strike. Gray's Unstoppable Juggernaut. That is pretty cool. Juggernauts you control. Attack each combat if able. Juggernauts you control can't be blocked by walls. And then other creatures you control have base power and toughness 5/3 and are juggernauts in addition to their other creature types. So is this the only actual juggernaut or are there other juggernauts? And this just adds juggernaut to things. Gleeful Demolition. White Sun's Twilight. You gain X life, create X plus 1 or X 1/1 mites. If X is more than 5, destroy all other creatures. Oof. I don't know if my friend has this for his deck, because this could be devastating. I don't know if he's listening. And let's hope he is not. Flying Toxic. Yeah, he really loves this set. Robrask's Anointer. The Myco Synths Gardens. Generic, then add 1 for any color. Then becomes a copy of target non-token artifact. Sinew Dancer. Tap target creature, corrupted. Target creature, activate only if the opponent has 3 more. She's a cheaper other ability. Gulping Scrap Trap. Infested Flesh Cutter. When equipped, creature attacks, create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might. Kemba Ka Enduring. Enters the battlefield. When it or another cat enters the battlefield under your control, attach up to 1 target equipment. I control. Incubation sac. Glissa Sunslayer. If a Glissa Sunslayer deals combat damage to a player, choose one. You draw a card, and you lose one life. Destroy target enchantment and remove up to 3 counters from target permanent. The Dross Pits. Another mythic. We're at 5 mythic. Forge Hammer Centurion. Tikutal Inquiry Dominus. If you proliferate twice instead. Remove 3 counters from among other artifact creatures and planeswalkers you control. Put an indestructible counter on Dominus. What is next? We got Shadows over Innistrad Remastered. Bygone Bishop. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana 3 value 3 or less, investigate. Balefire Dragon. When Balefire Dragon enters, deals combat damage to a player, it deals that much damage to each creature that player controls. That's pretty good. Wanderer. When Spirit enters the battlefield, under your control, Wanderer gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Sacrifice Wanderer. Counter target instant or sorcery spell unless controller pays X, where X is the power. That can be pretty good. Let's see, anything good in this one? Turn up to 1 target instant and up to 1 target sorcery from the graveyard to your hand, then discard, then exile. March of the Machine. Ooh, I like the art on this one. Zeta Hedron Grinder. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it targets only Zeta. Copy that spell for each other creature you control that the spell could target. Each copy targets a different one of those creatures. Pile on, convoke, and then destroy target creature or planeswalker. Surveil 2. Oh, it was an invasion card. Did not read it. Dina, Soul Stepper. Whenever you gain life, for each opponent, lose 1 life, sacrifice another creature. Gets the power. Boom. Doom's Car Warrior. back up 1, and then trample. When a creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, look at that many cards from the top of your library and reveal cards, a creature or land card from among them, put it into your hand, with the rest at the bottom of your library. War Historian. As long as it attack this battle. 8 battle. Ooh, the Wanderer. I like the Wanderer. Cut short. Destroy target planeswalker that was activated this turn or tap creature. Furnace Gremlin. It's an interesting art. Emoti, Celebrate of Bounty. Cascade, spells you cast with mana value 6 or more or greater have Cascade. I already read that one. Tetsugo Umezawa, Fugitive. Creatures you control with power or toughness 1 or less can't be blocked. Actually, you need this for ninjutsu deck I have. Invasion of New Capenna. Enters the battlefield, sacrifice artifact or creature. And when you do, exile target artifact, creature, and opponent controls. Then, whenever equipped creature puts 1/1, whenever it attacks, put a 1/1 on each creature you control that shares creature type. And then, for this one, got a whole bunch of stuff. Ooh, this one's a real cool art. I always like the red-blue art combos, typically. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, if a giant wizard or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. Into the fire. Choose one. Use a fire deals 2 damage for each creature, planeswalker, and battle. 2 each. Put any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of your library, then draw that many cards. Got a whole bunch. Kahari, the Orphan Guard. Companion. Each creature card in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast card. This is, yeah. Ooh, so this is the alternate. Real cool. Then, Ozolith, the Shattered Spire. Igna Runize. When Igna Runize enters the battlefield, scry 3. When Igna Runize dies, draw 3 cards and 3 or more creatures died this turn. Another vehicle. Add 1 mana of any color. Activate only if Flywheel Racer is a creature. Progenitor. Exarch. It incubates X times. They got a lot of different alt arts. Pretty cool. Halo Hopper. It's a paper decoy, I believe, from Kamigawa. Ren, the Realmbreaker. Lands you control have tap for any mana color. Up to one target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature, vigilance, hexproof, and haste. Till turn. Mill 3 cards. You may put a permanent card from among the milled cards into your hand, and then you get an emblem. You may play lands and cast permanent spells from your graveyard. That's a good emblem to have. Rona, Herald of Invasion. And then Rona, Talarian Obliterator. When you cast a legendary spell, untap Rona, transform as a sorcery. Whenever a source deals damage to Rona, that source controller exiles a card from their hand at random. If it's a land card, you may put it onto the battlefield under your control. Otherwise, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. That's actually cool. I actually want to make something with this. Chief of Compliance. Instants of sorceries cards you cast cost one less to cast. Whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Daxos, Blessed by the Sun. Daxos toughness equal to your devotional white. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, you gain 1 life. Hoarding Broodlord, Convoke Fly. Whenever it enters the battlefield, search your library for a card, exile it face down, then shuffle. For as long as the card remains exiled, you may play it. Spells you cast from exile have Convoke. Retta, Coalition Warlord. Domain. Whenever Retta, Coalition Warlord becomes tapped, another target creature you control gains +X till end of turn, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Invasion of Kaldheim. When Invasion of Kaldheim enters the battlefield, exile all cards from your hand, then draw that many cards until end of turn. You may play cards exiled this way. Pyre of the World Tree. Discard a land card. Pyre of the World Tree deals 2 damage to any target. Whenever you draw a land card, exile the top card from your library. You may play that card this turn. I got some further and some aftermath cards. Another mythic. Trox's Fall. Says steel girder going through here. That's pretty interesting. Destroy target artifact, battle, enchantment, or creature with flying. And we have 7 mythics. March of the Machine, Aftermath. Cosmic Rebirth. Choose target permanent card from your graveyard. If it has mana value 3 or less, you may play it, put it onto the battlefield. If you don't put it onto the battlefield, put it into your hand. You gain 3 life. Nice. Whenever creature you control that's enchanted or equipped attacks that creature double strike until end of turn. MTG Arena, Dauntless General. This battlefield, exile target's player's graveyard, sacrifice her humans control, gain hexproof and indestructible. The last one for this one. Leyline Immersion. Enchanted creature has ward 2 and tap, add 5 mana in any combination of color. Spend this mana only to cast spells. Hirobi Deathwhale. I like this card. Flying. Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy that creature. I like this is the Kamigawa art style for their alt arts. The neon border and it's like a shrine top. I find these ones really cool. And the art style on some of them are really nice. Lord of the Rings. My brother plays a Lord of the Rings deck. Andrew, Flame of the West. Legolas Counter of Kills. Whenever you scry, if Legolas Counter of Kills is tapped, you may untap it. Do this only once each turn. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on Legolas. Mithril Coat. Indestructible. When a Mithril Coat enters the battlefield, attach it to target legendary creature you control. Equipped creature has Indestructible. Eowyn, Lady of Rohan. Eric and Brand. Lord Westfold. When him or another human enters the battlefield under your control, gains 1/0. The Balrog. Durin's Bane. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent sacrifice this turn. Haste. The Balrog, Durin's Bane, can't be blocked except by legendary creatures. When the Balrog dies, destroy target artifact or creature an opponent controls. Combine that with the Rakdos, the Chaos Patron card. Pretty good. Either you draw or they sacrifice permanents. And then you get this for cheaper. Horn of the Mark. Whenever 2 or more creatures you control attack a player, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them. Put that into your hand, put the rest at the bottom of the library in random order. Fire Inscription. Forge New. Enters the battlefield, return equipment from the graveyard to the battlefield. As long as you return, you may activate equipment abilities at any time. You cast an instant, you may pay 0 rather than pay the equip cost of the first equipped ability. for activating during each of Fog of the Barrows Downs. Goldberry River Daughter. Move a counter of each kind not on Goodberry from another target permanent you control onto Goodberry. 1 blue. Move one or more counters from Goodberry onto another target permanent you control. If you do, draw a card. This would be pretty good because I have a few cards that do different counters, like flying counter. So if I can move them around, that'd be pretty cool. Emor, Marshal of Rohan. Whenever one or more other attacking legendary creature you control die, untap all creatures you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. This ability triggers only once each turn. Galadriel of Lothlorien. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you chose a creature card other than Galadriel as ring bearer, scry 3. Whenever you scry, you may reveal the top card of your library. If a land card is revealed this way, put it onto the battlefield tapped. As long as it's your turn and you control an army, Grond, the Great Gatebreaker, is an artifact creature. Ooh, Gandalf the White. You may cast legendary spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. If a legendary permanent or artifact entering or leaving the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Faramir, Prince of Ithilien. At the beginning of your end step, choose an opponent. At the beginning of the player's next end step, you draw a card. If they don't attack you this turn, otherwise create 3/1/1 human soldiers. Ooh, Gimli, counter of kills. Whenever creature an opponent controls dies, Gimli counter of kills deals 1 damage to that creature's controller. Another mithril coat. Wizard's Rockets. Welcome back, Ish. You and a target opponent create a food token. Each opponent loses 3 life. Create a token, treasure token. Create 3 tapped 1/1 spirit tokens with flying. Another rare wild card. Fell Beast. Moria. Marauder. Double strike. Whenever a goblin or orc you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Impact Tremors. I like all the arts for this set. This set's a good set. The Wilds of Eldraine one. Italian Thornguard. Bargain. Oh yeah, I know what bargain is. Whenever enters the battlefield, turn up to 1 a target spell or non-land permanent. It's owner's hand. If it was bargained, the card particularly gains this spell. That spell costs 2 more. I'm gonna sneeze. Alright. Draconic debut. Got 2 more Alchemy Eldraines. This is the one that had the little pigs. Second little pig potentially becomes a boar spirit with base power and toughness 4 and gains flying. Activate only if second little pig isn't a spirit. Hex Kellyan's Companion. Whenever you cast an adventure spell with Hex Kellyan's Companion is on the battlefield or in exile, it perpetually gets +1/+1. Then if it's on the battlefield, exile if this with a fetch counter on it. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, if Hex is in exile with a fetch counter on it, put it onto the battlefield. Rhystic Study. I actually need this for one of them. I forget which one deck it is. It's just such a good card to have. Tangible Virtue. Another Throne Guard. Now to actual Eldraines, not Alchemy. Raid Bombardment. Likeness Looter. I actually need this for the Ninjutsu deck I have. Draw a card, then discard a card. A Likeness Looter becomes a copy of target creature in your graveyard with mana value X, except it has flying and this ability. Direct Tutelage. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put it into your hand. You lose life equal to its mana value. Godric. Cloaked Reveler. Haste Celebration. As long as 2 or more non-land permanents enter the battlefield under your control this turn. Reveler is a dragon with base power and toughness 4/4, flying, and pay 1 red. Dragons you control get a +1 until end of turn. You don't get a donate button. Mostly because I have to set up a business PayPal instead of doing a personal one, which I had set up on my last one, which was dangerous, to say the least. Scalding Viper. Steam Clean. For Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and then whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value 3 or less, Scalding Viper deals 1 damage to that player. Which is good. I have a deck built around him in real life. I need to update it though. Compulsion, discard a card, draw a card, sacrifice compulsion, draw a card. Nether Likeness Looter. Horned Lock Whale. The owner of target attacking creature you don't control puts it on the top or bottom of their library. Then enters the battlefield unless it's your turn. It comes in tapped. Gallant Pie Wielder. Leyline of Sanctity. If Leyline of Sanctity is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. You have hexproof. That's pretty good. I am going to add that to a deck. Werefox Bodyguard. When the Werefox Bodyguard enters the battlefield, exile up to 1 target creature, non-fox creature, until Werefox Bodyguard leaves the battlefield. Sacrifice and gain 2 life. Another Scalding Viper, and Polluted Bonds. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Let me do this. Hold on. Can I do that from here? Trying to make you a mod. There you go, mod. Just so you can help me out some. Alright. Is there any pack you want to see me open? I got some golden packs. Got some Karlov. I got 3 different ones. These are the mythic packs. I got Khans of Takar. We got Lost Caverns. Got Lost Caverns Mythic. We got Alchemy. Got a whole bunch. I got still 100 more to go. 50. Let's say 100, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, or 25. 130 packs left to open. Let's go. Let's grab all the alchemies first. I have the least amount of those. Actually, I have the least amount of Ixalan Mythic. Scale Soul Gnome. Have not. Oh, it's a alchemy. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, discover X, where X is that damage. Whenever you play a card from exile, conjure a duplicate of it in your hand. And then Petrify. Gotta love being petrified 4 times in a row. Good stuff. Let's see. It's a pretty good cave. Man, it's a filtering one. And that gives creatures +1s. Hey, I'm not the one that used petrification. That was Connor. Connor's the one that repeatedly used petrification. I'm okay with no petrification. Just saying. Valiant Bat Rider. Whenever Valiant Bat Rider deals combat damage to a player, that player gets a one-time boon with whenever non-creature spell. You may pay 1. If you don't, each opponent draws a card. Reflection Net. The Reflection Net enters the battlefield. Exile target creature until leaves. Interesting. High Marshal Arguile? Arguel's Bloodfast. Whenever he dies, conjure a card named Bloodfast to the battlefield, and you may transform it. If you control an enchantment named Argyle Bloodfast and a land named Temple of Alcazatz. Instead, create 2 for 3 white and black vampire demons. Creature tokens with flying. Pay 1 generic, 1 black, pay 2 life. If you have 5 or less life, you may transform. Well, let me see what the transform is. Let's open the Mythic pack. Best have a good card. Ooh, that's actually really good. I actually wanted more of these. I don't have a deck set up for this one yet, though. Let's go with Murder of Karlov Manor, Alchemy. Ooh, how many mythics do I have? 9 mythic, 17 rare, 39 uncommon, 38 common. That's a lot of cards. Probably not enough. Sanctity of the Guild Pact. A scrutiny of the Guild Pact. It enters the battlefield, you may choose a creature card in your hand. If you do, that card perpetually incorporates 1 and gains. Whenever you cast a spell, create a... Nice. A lot of cool cards. Thopterist. Thopters gain +2 and 0. That's actually really cool. Snarlfang Vermin. When it deals combat damage to a creature, that creature is still on the battlefield. Suspect that creature. It perpetually gains this ability. Whenever a suspected creature an opponent controls dies, while Snarlfang is in your graveyard, that opponent loses 1 life. Is it Polarizer? As a polarizer dies, conjure a card named Ionize, or a card named Electrolyze into your hand. Your choice is not revealed to other players. Nice. Well, we know what Ionize does. It does not show what Electrolyze does. Counter target spell. Ionize deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. Let's Ionize. public thoroughfare. Just a battlefield sacrifice unless you untap artifact one land you control. Or tap an untapped one. Nice. I have a few of those in my deck. Not this card specifically, but stuff like that. Construction Arsonist. When Construction Arsonist enters the battlefield, you may choose to an instant or sorcery card in your hand. If you do, the card perpetually incorporates 1 red and gains when you cast a spell, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, Construction Arsonist gains +1/+1 until end of turn for each of that spell's colors. Let's go Khans of Tarkir. Secret Plans. Face down creatures you control get +0/+1. I believe this will work with the Disguised Cloaked, I think it is, from Karlov Manor, which is pretty cool. Disguised Banner. Nice. And then Solte Banner. Herald of Anafenza. Outlast, what does Outlast do? Puts a 1/1 counter on creature. And then whenever you activate Herald of Anafenza, Outlast ability, create a 1/1 white warrior creature token. 2 more cons. Mardu Banner, we got Chief of the Scale. Retribution of the Ancients. Remove X +1/+1 counters from among creatures you control. Target creature gets -XX until end of turn. And the last cons. Ooh, Jeskai Charm. Put a creature on top of its owner's library. Jeskai Charm deals 4 damage to target opponent. Ooh, or Planeswalker or creatures you control get 1/1 and gain lifelink until end of turn. We also have Timur's Charm, which is target creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It fights target creature you don't control. Counter target spell unless the controller pays 3. Or creatures with power 3 or less can't block this turn. This is a bunch of cool 3-color cards. Flying Crane Technique. Untap all creatures you control. They gain flying and double strike until end of turn. Let's open the gold packs. We have Starving Revenant, Krenko's Buzz Crusher, Transmogrant Crown, Food Fight. Artifacts you control have 2 sacrifices artifact. It deals damage to any target equal to 1 plus the number of permanent named food fight you control. Ill-timed Explosion. Cards, draw 2 cards. Then you may discard 2 cards. When you do, Ill-timed Explosion deals X damage to each creature, where X is the greatest mana value among cards discarded this way. The last one, Invasion of Ravnica. Invasion of Ravnica enters the battlefield. Exile target non-land permanent opponent controls. that isn't exactly 2 colors. Whenever you cast a card that's exactly 2 colors, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal a card that's exactly 2 colors from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order, or in random order. Random order. Zier's Stalwart Survivor. Kellen, Inquisitive Prodigy. Whale of the Forgotten. Vesner, Corpse Puppet. That sounds interesting. Whenever you proliferate, choose one. If you don't control a creature named the Hollow Sentinel, create a Hollow Sentinel. A legendary 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem artifact creature. Target artifact creature you control gains flying and lifelink until end of turn. Reenact the crime. And then the last one is Tyvar the Bellicose. Whenever one or more elves you control attack with, they gain Death Touch until end of turn. Each creature you control has, whenever a mana ability of this creature resolves, put a number of 1/1 counters on your on it equal to the amount of mana that creature produced. This ability triggers only once each turn. You can make a really crazy deck with this. There's a card that is give creatures you have Death Touch Toxic. I think it's Toxic 1. It might be Toxic 2. I forget. And then elves, you can get a whole bunch of them pretty quickly, as far as I know. Murder Carla Manor Mythic Pack. Slimy Dual Leech. Beginning combat on your turn. Target creature you control with power 2 or less gains +1 and gains Death Touch until end of turn. Intrude on the Mind. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library and separate them into 2 piles. An opponent chooses one of those piles. Put that pile into the hand of the other, into your hand, and the other into the graveyard. Choose a 0/0 color Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Then put a 1/1 counter on it for each card put into your graveyard this way. Another one of these. Brain Juggler. Etrata's Deadly Fugitive. Death Touch. Face down creatures you control have pay 2, and then 1 blue, 1 black. Turn this creature face up. If you can't, exile it. Turn this creature face up. If you can't, exile. Then you may cast the exiled card without paying the mana cost. Whenever an assassin you control deals combat damage to an opponent, click the top card of that player's library. Let's see. Ooh, Massacre Girl, Known Killer. Menace. Creatures you control have Wither. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, if its toughness was less than 1, draw a card. This is a pretty cool card. I actually want to get that card in real life. Thinking Cap. Vanifar's Evolved Enigma. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one cloak card from your hand or put a 1/1 counter on each colorless creature you control. Let's see. Case of the Pilfered Proof. I actually want to get Case of the Broken Guild Pack. That's one I'm actually searching for. If not, I have all those mythics. I think it's mythic. Might be rare. Tristani, Three Whispers. Target creature gains Death Touch until end of turn. Target creature gains Vigilance until end of turn. Or target creature gains Double Strike until end of turn. Limiting Conundrum. If you draw a card while your library has no cards in it, skip that draw instead. As long as there is no cards in your library, Living Conundrum has base power and toughness 10/10 and has flying and vigilance. This would be also a good card to add to my deck because my deck that I have, I'll show you guys later probably, has a problem with self-milling itself to loss. I have a card in there that helps prevent that, but this would also help too. Agros Cost, Spirit of Justice. Whenever Agros Cost, Spirit of Justice, enters the battlefield or attacks, choose up to one target creature. If it's suspected, exile it. Otherwise suspected. Oh, hello there. Hello! Welcome. Fuss and Bother. Put a 1/1 counter on each attacking creature you control, or create 3 1/1 colors Thopter artifact creature tokens with flying. Let's see what this one is. Anzrag the Quake Mole. Mole God. That's actually a pretty cool card. Whenever Anzag becomes blocked, untap each creature you control. After this phase, there is an additional combat phase. Anzag must be blocked each combat if able to. That's for paying 2 red, 2 green, and 3 generic. Yeah, no advertisements. You right. I don't have things set up. Should say under construction. Should at least, let me double check. About and then I'm gonna also hit you with this too. Now you have responsibility, Joel. Mythic, Pride of Whole Clade. This spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total toughness of creatures you control. And then at the end, till the end of turn, creatures you control get +1 and have whenever this creature deals combat damage to player, draw cards equal to its toughness. And can attack as though it didn't have defender. Alright. Equalist Proft Master Sleuth. When he enters the battlefield, investigate. Sacrifice a clue, you draw X and gain X. I'm going to have 42 common, 45 uncommon, 20 rare, and 9 mythic. Vanifar, Evolved Enigma. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose one. I there you grab one of these. Escape Tunnel. Search your library for basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped. Alright. Let's do the rest of those. True. What's true? Candlestick. Equipped creatures get +1/+1 and has whenever this creature attacks, Surveil 2. And another rare wild card. Wild card, wild card. Commercial District. Enters the battlefield, tapped, surveil 1, and then you get red or green. Alright. Ooh. I love vehicles. Kylox Volt Strider. Collect evidence 6. Volt Strider becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Whenever it attacks, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from among cards exiled with it. If that spell would be put into a graveyard, put it at the bottom of its owner's library instead. Collect evidences exile cards with total mana value 6 or greater from your graveyard. Yeah, Prime sub. I don't have subs until I make affiliate. Aurelia's Vindicator. Whenever Aurelia's Vindicator is turned face up, exile up to X target creatures from the battlefield or creature cards from the graveyard. Where Aurelia Vindicator leaves the battlefield, return the exiled cards to its owner's hands. I have so many packs to open, which I will also try and do. Get affiliate, or is that what you mean? You gotta stream, bud. True, not enough packs, but also opening all the packs is it's fun. But I don't know what. So when I open the packs, do I read all of them? Do I read the ones I get first? Do I only read this one? That's what I'm trying to figure out what to do. I do have enough wildcards. Look at all those wildcards. 44, 48, 21, and 9. Read the first versions. That's what I was thinking. Eliminate the impossible. Investigate creatures your opponents control. Get -2, -0 until end of turn. If any of them are suspected, they are no longer suspected. Sudden setback. The owner of target spell or non-land permanent puts it into the top or bottom of its library. And then Case of the Uneaten Feast. Whenever a creature card or enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. To solve it, you've gained 5 or more life this turn. And then once it's solved, sacrifice this case. Creature cards in your graveyard gain. You may cast this card from your graveyard until end of turn. But the search cards in the set are the Case of the Broken Guild Pack. That's what I'm searching for that I want. The Guild Pack Leyline I think is in Ravnica Remastered, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know if it's in this one. But if it is, I need that one too. We got Unscrupulous Agent. Whenever Unscrupulous Agent enters the battlefield, the target opponent exiled a card from their hand. I know. I saved up specifically so I could do this. Whenever Hotshot Investigator enters the battlefield, return up to one other target creature to its owner's hand if you control it. Investigate. Greenbelt Radical. When Greenbelt Radical is turned face up, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. Blood Splatter Analysis. Whenever Blood Splatter Analysis enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Whenever one or more creature dies, mill a card and put Bloodstain counter on Bloodstain Splatter Analysis. Then sacrifice if it has 5 or more Bloodstain counters on it. When you do, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Gleaming Geardrake. Geardrake enters the battlefield. Investigate. You sacrifice an artifact. Put a 1/1 counter on Geardrake. Sanitation Automaton. Whenever a Sanitation Automaton enters the battlefield, surveil 1. Soul Innervation. As Flash, whenever Soul Innervation enters the battlefield, target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. Whenever one or more creature cards leaves your graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life, and you gain 1 life. And then when Shady Informant dies, it deals 2 damage to any target. And as Disguise. Homicide Investigator. Whenever one or more non-token creatures you control dies, investigate. This ability triggers only once each turn. Murder. Destroy target creature. We got Rope. The Crypt creature gets a +1/+2, has reach, and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. And then draw a card. Investigate. Sacrifice this. That's a clue. I don't need to read that. No more lies. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. And then another mythic wild card. I have 10 of them now. And I'm about to get one in 3 more. Caught red-handed. This card can't be countered. It includes ward, and then gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Suspect it. Fanatical Strength. Creature cards gain +2/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. Then whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, target creature you control gains +1/+1 till end of turn. And then we got Thundering Falls, land that has Surveil. Sample Collector. Whenever Sample Collector attacks, you may collect Evidence 3. When you do, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, and then reveal. Doppelgang. For each of X target permanents, create X target that are copies of that permanent. Oof, that's gonna be a good card. Long Goodbye. This card can't be countered. This includes ward, destroy target creature, or planeswalker with mana value 3 or less. Then we have Defenestrated Phantom, flying and disguise. Another Tristani 3 Whispers. Toxin Analysis. Target creature gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. Investigate. Karlov's Watchdog. Vigilance. Permanents your opponent's control can't be turned face up during your turn. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures you control gain +1/+1. Then Inside Source. When Inside Source enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token. Target detective you control gains +2/+0 and gains vigilance till end of turn. Activate only as sorcery. Polygraph Orb. The Polygraph Orb enters the battlefield. Look at the top 4 cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. You lose 2 life, and then pay 2, tap, collect evidence 3. Each opponent loses 3 life unless they discard a card or sacrifice a creature. Tolsmere Midnight's Light. When he enters the battlefield, create Voja Fenstalker, a legendary 5/5 green and white wolf creature token with trample. Whenever a wolf you control attacks, if Tolsmere attacks this combat, target creature an opponent controls blocks that wolf this combat if able. Airtight Alibi. Flash enchant creature. When Airtight Alibi enters the battlefield, untap enchanted creature. It gains hexproof until end of turn. If it's suspected, it is no longer suspected. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and can't be suspected. Insidious Roots. Creature tokens you control have tap for any mana you control. Any color mana. Whenever one or more creature card leaves your graveyard, create a 0/1 green plant creature token. Then put a 1/1 counter on each plant you control. No witnesses. Each player who controls the most creatures investigates, then destroy all creatures. What is it? I still have over 100 packs to open. Hope you are enjoying it. Crowd Control Warden. As Crowd Control Warden enters the battlefield or is turned face up, put X +1 counters on it, where X is the number of other creatures you control. Coerce to kill. Enchant creature. You control enchanted creature. Enchanted creature has base power and toughness 1/1, has death touch, is an assassin in addition to its other types. Forensic Gadgeteer. Whenever you cast an artifact, spell, investigate, activated abilities of artifacts you control cost 1. 1 less to activate. This effect can't reduce the mana and that cost to this effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. We have They Went This Way. Search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle, investigate. Essence of Antiquity. When Essence of Antiquity is turned face up, creatures you control gain hexproof until end of turn. Untap them. Then Scene of the Crime. Scene of the Crime enters the battlefield, tap. Add 1 generic, tap an untapped creature you control, add 1 mana of any color. Then 2, sacrifice Scene of the Crime, draw a card. And then a rare wild card. Red Herring. Red Herring attacks each combat if able. Sacrifice Red Herring, draw a card. Then Galvanize. Galvanize deals 3 damage to a target creature. If you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn, Galvanize 5 damage to that creature instead. Flotsam and Jetsam. Flotsam. Mill 3 cards, investigate. Jetsam is each opponent mills 3 cards, then you may cast a spell from each opponent's graveyard without paying its mana cost. If a spell cast this way will be put into a graveyard, exile it instead. And Teysa, Opulent Oligarch. Death Touch. At the beginning of your end step, investigate for each opponent who lost life this turn. Whenever a clue you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. This ability triggers once each turn. Soul Search. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. Exile that card. If the card's mana value is 1 or less, create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. Furtive Courier. Furtive Courier can't be blocked as long as you sacrifice an artifact this turn. Whenever Furtive Courier attacks, draw a card, then discard a card. Connecting the Dots. I have the full art of this one in real life. It's pretty cool. Or alternate art, maybe? Whenever a creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library face down. Discard your hand, sacrifice, connect the dots, put all cards exiled with connecting the dots into their owner's hands. Agency Coroner. Sacrifice a creature, draw a card. If the sacrificed creature was suspected, draw 2 cards. Then we have Goblin Maskmaker. Whenever a Goblin Maskmaker attacks, face down spells you cast this turn cost 1 less to cast. Then Makeshift Bindings. When Makeshift Bindings enters the battlefield, exile target creature an opponent controls until Makeshift Bindings leaves the battlefield. You gain 2 life. Meddling Youths. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, investigate. And are you ready to reenact the crime? Let's do a big pack opening, and we're just going to open all of these at once. Alright. Seasoned Consultant. Whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures, Seasoned Consultant gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Griffinaut Tracker. Whenever Griffinaut Tracker enters the battlefield, exile up to 2 target cards from a single graveyard. Rubblebelt Maverick. When Rubblebelt Maverick enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Pay 1 green Maverick from the exile Maverick from the graveyard, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, and activate only a sorcery. Then we have Make Your Move. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with power 4 or greater. Suspicious Detonation. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you're sacrificing an artifact this turn. This spell can't be countered. Suspicious Detonation deals 4 damage to target creature. Next one is going to be Tunnel Tipster. At the beginning of your end step, if a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, put a 1/1 counter on Tunnel Tipster. Cold Case Cracker. Flying, when Cold Case Cracker dies, investigate. Ballrack Clan Basher. Double Strike, Trample, and Disguise. Korvod's Haunch. Sacrifice Korvod's Haunch. You gain 3 life. When Korvod's Haunch is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, you may pay 1 generic, 1 white. If you do, create 2 1/1 white dog creatures. And we have Push and Pull. Push, destroy target tapped creature. Pull, put up to 2 target creature cards from a single graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. They gain haste until end of turn. Sacrifice them at the beginning of your next end step. Glint Weaver. When Glint Weaver enters the battlefield, distribute 3 1/1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures. Then you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Burden of Proof. Chain creature gets +2/+2 as long as a detective you control, otherwise it has base power and toughness 1/1 and can't block detectives. And then to reveal cards, we got another Doppelgang, Deadly Cover. As initial cost to cast this spell, you may collect Evidence 6. Destroy all creatures. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. Then search your its owner's graveyard, hand, or library, and library for any number of cards with that name, then exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way. Got Judith, Carnage Connoisseur. Whenever you cast an instant or a sorcery spell, choose one. Whenever that spell gains Death Touch and Lifelink, create a 2/2 red imp creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 2 damage to each opponent. Undercity Sewers, it's a land card. We have Yaris, Roar of the Old Gods. Other creatures you control have haste. Whenever one or more face-down creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Whenever a face-down creature you control dies, return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. If it's a permanent card, then turn it face up. Aurelia, the Law Above. Vigilance, Flying Vigilance Haste. Whenever a player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. Whenever a player attacks with 5 or more creatures, Aurelia, Law Above, deals 3 damage to each of your opponents, and you gain 3 life. Another Blood Splatter Analysis. So I didn't get the cards I was looking for, but I still have a whole bunch more. Death Rose Reliquary. This, as an additional cost, cast a spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Ward 2. When it enters the battlefield, exile target artifact or creature an opponent controls until it leaves the battlefield. I'm just gonna quickly go through some of these. Pugnacious Hammerskull. Whatever Pugnacious Hammerskull attacks while you don't control another dinosaur, put a stun counter on it. Terror Tide. Fathomless Ascent. All creatures gain -X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Yeah, we'll save Lost Caverns. I've been excited for Kamigawa. We'll do these. We'll play a few games, and I think I might end it after that. Born to Drive. Enchant artifact or creature as long as enchanted permanent is a creature. It gains +1/+1 for each creature and or vehicle you control. Channel it and make pilots. Seven-Tail Mentor. When Seven-Tail Mentor enters the battlefield or dies, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Then we have Debt to the Kami. Choose one. Target opponent exiles a creature they control, or target opponent exiles an enchantment they control. Ogrehead Helm. A equipped creature gets a +2/+2 when Ogrehead Helm or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player. You may sacrifice it. If you do, discard your hand, then draw 3 cards. What I'm looking for in this set is the shrines from this set. More of those, and then just any cool cards, because this is a really cool set and I like it. Like all the reconfigure artifact cards. Regent's Authority. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn if it's an enchantment creature or a legendary creature. Instead, put a 1/1 counter on it, and it gets a 1/1 until end of turn. Tawashi Guidebot. When Tawashi Guidebot enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Pay 4, tap, draw a card. Its ability costs 1 less to activate for each modified creature. Rugged Highlands is a land. Jukai Preserver. When Jukai Preserver enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. Channel 2 in a green. Discard Jukai Preserver. Put a 1/1 counter on each of the. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures you control. Boon of Boseiju. Target creature gets XX until end of turn, where X is the greatest mana value among permanents you control. Untap it. Reality Chip is actually one that I was looking for, but I forgot the name of. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as Reality Chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. I need more of these for decks, which is good. Commune with Spirits, look at the top card of your library. You may reel it, an enchantment, or a land card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order, and that was Commune with Spirits.
Sure
Mythic. Ooh. Tamiyo Completed Saga. Completed. Tap. Its +1 is tap up to 1 target artifact or creature. It does not untap during its controller's next untap step. Exile target non-land permanent card with mana value X, where X value X from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, and its -7 is create Tomiyo's Notebook, a legendary colors artifact token with spells you cast cost 2 less to cast, and tap and draw. Armguard Familiar. Ooh, another one of these. Armguard Familiar. Ward 2. The creature gets +2 and has Ward 2. Geothermal Kami. When Geothermal Kami enters the battlefield, you may return an enchantment you control to its owner's hand. If you do, gain 3 life. Ishin, 2 heavens as 1. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Moth Rider Patrol. Applying 3/1 white, tap target creature. Tap to tap target creature. Fang of Shingeki, 1/1 Death Touch. Guardians of Oboro. Defender, modified creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have Defender. Flame Discharge. Flame Discharge deals X damage to target creature or planeswalker. If you control a modified creature, as you cast a spell, it deals X +2 damage instead.
I could sneak right by, but I'm itching.
Kato Shizuki. Got another one of him. It's a planeswalker card. Master. Tales of Master Seishiro. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. It gains vigilance until end of turn. You can do that twice, and then exile the Saga and turn it into a 5/5 Vigilance Haste. Imperial Subduer. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, tap target creature you don't control. It's a 3/2 for 2 and a white. Or, same thing, it's a 3/1, but it's a 1 generic, 1 white. Generous Visitor. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Awakened Awareness. Enchant artifact or creature. When Awakened Awareness enters the battlefield, put a X/1/1 counters on enchanted permanent. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it has base toughness 1/1. And another mythic wildcard. Grafted Growth. When Grafted Growth enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Enchanted lands has tap, add 2 mana of any one color. Network Terminal. Tap, add 1 mana of any color. Or pay 1, tap, tap another untapped artifact you control, draw a card, then discard. Covert Technician. Whenever Covert Technician deals combat damage to a player, you may put a artifact card with mana value less than or equal to that damage from your hand to the battlefield. Dramaticist Puppet. Whenever Dramaticist Puppeteer or Puppet enters the battlefield, for each kind of counter on target permanent, put another counter of that kind on it or remove one from it. Saba Trespasser. Hello, Claire Omnicider. How are you doing? You got a Saba Trespasser. It's channel 3 and then a blue. Discard Saba Trespasser. Tap up to 2 target creatures you don't control. Those creatures don't untap their controller's next untap step. Then we have Mobilizer Mech, another vehicle. I'm collecting all the vehicles. Yeah, Commander's fun. Me and my buddies played almost every week, or at least try to. We didn't do it this week because some of us are sick. But yeah, Commander's great fun. I have a Shorkai deck that's a really good one. Too bad Shorkai is not on Arena. They need to put it on here. What was it? Oh yeah, Mobilizer Mech. Mobilizer Mech becomes crude. It's a one other vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. Nice. My main go-to for decks are Shrine decks. I love the Shrine decks. I have a Commander deck, Shrine deck. I have Historic Ranked. That's all just Shrines. And we got Runaway Trashbot. Runaway Trashbot gets a +1/+0 for each artifact and or enchantment card in your graveyard. And then Teachings of the Chiron. Mill 3, create a 1/1 color spirit creature token. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, and then exile, turn it into whenever it attacks, choose one exile creature from graveyard, then create a 1/1 color spirit token. Exile target non-creature and from a graveyard and get a 1/1 counter on target creature. Yep, that's how they work. That's I need to look and see what your Zyrus wheel deck does. I need to look that up, see what it actually can get into. Gold Tail Disciple. Got Lifelink. Oh, nice. Short Circuit, Flash, enchant creature, artifact or creature. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gains -3 and loses flying. Then Bronzeplate Boar. Equipped creature gets a +3/+2 and has trample. Norika Yamazaki, the poet. When Samurai Warrior you control attacks alone, you may cast target enchantment card from your graveyard this turn. And Invoke Justice. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield, then distribute 4 1/1 counters among vehicles or creatures target player controls. Yeah, I've saved up a whole bunch of packs. I'm probably not going to get to these ones today. I already opened a whole bunch of them. I want to get through the Kamigawa ones so I can upgrade one of my decks. But so far it's been fun. Might play a few games before I get off. This spell, it's Walking Skyscraper. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each modified creature you control. Trample, and Walking Skyscraper has hexproof as long as it's untapped. We have Ninja's Kunai. Equipped creature has 1 tap. Pay 1 tap and sacrifice Ninja's Kunai and deals 3 damage to any target. Ironhoof Boar has Trample Haste, Channel for 1 generic 1 red. Discard Ironhoof Boar. Target creature gets +3/+1 and gains Trample until end of turn. Thundersteel Colossus. Trample Haste Crew 2. It's a 7/7. Invigorating Hot Springs. Invigorating Hot Springs enters the battlefield with 4 1/1 counters on it. Modified creatures you control have haste. Remove a 1/1 counter from Invigorating Hot Springs. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. And then activate only as a sorcery and only once each turn. Heir of the Ancient Fang. Heir of the Ancient Fang enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it if you control a modified creature. Era of Enlightenment Saga. Scry 2. You gain 2 life and exile the saga for 2/2 first strike. Enormous Energy Blade. Whenever equipped creature gets a +4/+0, whenever Energy Blade becomes attached to a creature, tap that creature. And then Atsushi, the Blazing Sky. Whenever Atsushi, the Blazing Sky dies, choose one. Exile top 2 cards of your library until end of turn. You may play those cards, and then create 3 treasure tokens. Let's see how many we're at. We're at 55 common, 60 uncommon, 27 rare, and 12 mythic. Futurist Operative. Normally it's a 3/1. As long as Futurist Operative is tapped, it's a 1/1, can't be blocked. Then you can untap it. Alchemy is a 1 cost, 0/4 instead of a 3/4. As long as it's tapped, it's a human with a 1/1. It can't be blocked. Blooming Sands Land. Dragonfly Suit Vehicle. Flying. Crew 1. Orochi Emerge Keeper. Add 1. Green. As long as Orochi Emerge Keeper is modified, it has add 2. And then we have Seiju, Who Endures. Legendary land, channel 1 and green. And destroy target artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land an opponent controls. That player may search their library for a land card with a basic land type, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. Alright, and then we have Kami of Restless Shadows. When Kami of Restless Shadows enters the battlefield, choose one. Return up to one target ninja or rogue creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. From the graveyard to your hand. Return creature from your graveyard to the top of your library. Reality Heist. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each artifact you control. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal up to 2 artifact cards from among them. Put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Thousand Face Shadow is a really good card, which I was looking for more of those. Greater Tanuki, Trample, channel 2 and a green. Discard Greater Tanuki, search your library for a basic land card. Put it onto the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle. Bearer of Memory, 5 and a green. Put a 1/1 counter on target enchantment creature. It gains trample until end of turn. Reckoner's Bargain. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. You gain life equal to the sacrificed permanent's mana value. Draw 2 cards. Hotshot Mechanic. Hotshot Mechanic cruise vehicles as though if it were 2 greater. And then Inventive Iteration. Return up to 1 target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hands. Return an artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. If you can't, draw a card. And then exile it and it becomes a flying. Whenever you cast flying 3/3 with whenever you cast a spell, your opponents can't cast spells with the same mana value of that spell until your next turn. Alright, then we have Repel the Vile. Choose one, exile target creature with power 4 or greater, exile target enchantment. Then we have You Are Already Dead. Destroy target creature that was dealt damage this turn. Is this card a Vis of the North Star? I want to say Omeoma Mushinderu reference? Could be. Otawara Soaring City. Legendary land, tap for blue. Channel for 3 and a blue. Discard Otawara Soaring City. Return target artifact, creature, enchantment, or planeswalker to its owner's hands. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. 32 more left, guys. We're almost there. Alright, the Shattered States era. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn. Creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. And then exile it for a 3/3 trample haste. I don't remember getting Risno Asari Commander. Haste whenever commander deals combat damage to a player. If it doesn't have an indestructible counter on it, put an indestructible counter on it. Whenever combat damage is dealt to You remove an indestructible counter from Risona. Risona? Yes, another shrine. Scrapyard Steel Breaker. Pay 1. Sacrifice another artifact, and Steelbreaker gets a +2/+1 until end of turn. Weaver of Harmony. Other enchantment creatures you control get +1/+1. Pay green, tap, copy, target activated or triggered ability you control from an enchantment source. You may choose new targets for the copy. I actually need this for the Shrine decks because these are activated abilities. So you should be able to trigger this. Unstoppable Ogre. When Unstoppable Ogre enters the battlefield, target creatures can't block this turn. Explosive Entry. Destroy up to 1 target artifact. Put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature. And a rare wild card. We're currently at 57, 63 uncommon, 28 rare, 13 mythic. Imperial Oath. Create 3 2/2 White Samurais creature tokens with Vigilance, Scry 3. And Aki Warpaint. Enchanted artifact or creature. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +2/+1. Springleaf Avenger. Whenever it has ninjutsu 3 and 1 green. Whenever Avenger deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Lucky Offering. Destroy target artifact with mana value 3 or less. You gain 3 life. Then Kindled Fury. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn. Another inventive iteration. Peerless Samurai. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, the next spell you cast costs 1 less to cast. The Fall of Lord Kanda. Exile target creature and opponent controls with mana value 4 or greater. Each player gains control of all permanents they own. Then exile, it becomes a 1/3 defender with when Fragment of Coda dies, draw a card. Another Soaring City. Befriending the Moths. Target creature you control gains +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. Does that twice, then exile for a 2/4 flying moth. Prodigy Prototype. Whenever one or more vehicle you control attacks, create a 1/1 colorless pilot token with this creature crews 2 vehicles as though if it were 2 or greater. Has crew 2. Setsuki, the Living Lore. Put a lore counter on each saga you control. Activate only as a sorcery. When Living Lore dies, choose up to 1. Return target saga or enchantment creature you control to its owner's hand. Return target saga card from your graveyard to your hand. Lethal Exploit. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. It gets an additional -1/-1 end of turn for each modified creature you controlled as you cast the spell. Ooh, Kura the Boundless Sky. I think this was the only dragon from this set that I didn't have. I have the No, I might not have the white one. I have the black one. The blue one I want to say I have. Red one. I think this was the last one. I don't know if I had the white one or not. Kura, the Boundless Sky. Flying, Death Touch, and when Boundless Sky dies, choose one. Search your library for up to 3 land cards. Reel them, put them into your hand, and then shuffle. Create an XX green spirit creature token where X is the number of lands you control. Kitsune Ace. Whenever a vehicle you control attacks, choose one. That vehicle gains first strike until end of turn, or untap Kitsune Ace. Kodama of the West Tree. Modify creatures you control have trample. Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle. Gift of Wrath. Enchant artifact or creature. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gains +2/+2, and has menace. When Gift of Wrath leaves the battlefield, creatures create a 2/2 red spirit creature token with menace. Jungle Hollow is a land, gives you black-green. Dragon Kami Reborn. Saga that you gain 2 life. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Exile one of them face down with the hatchling counter on it. Then put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. That happens twice. Then you exile. And whenever it turns into a 0/1, whenever a Dragon Kami Egg or a dragon you control dies, you may cast a creature spell from among cards you own in exile with hatchling counters on them without paying its mana cost. Feature a Sentinel vehicle, Crew 366. Tawashi Song Shaper. Whenever another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, Tawashi Song Shaper gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Swimmer's Koi. Whenever flying 3/3, whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Roaring Earth. Landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on target creature or vehicle you control. Channel. X green. Discard Roaring Earth. Put X 1/1 counters on target land you control. It becomes a 0/0 green spirit creature with haste. It's still a land. Thundering Raiju. 3/3 haste. Whenever Thundering Raiju attacks, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, where Thundering Raiju deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of modified creatures you control other than Thundering Raiju. No new ones. Hinata. Is that Hinata? Dawn Crowned. Legendary creature, Kirin Spirit. So 4/4 flying trample spell. That with spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each target. Spells your opponent casts cost 1 more to cast for each target. Uncharted Haven. Uncharted Haven enters the battlefield tapped. As Uncharted enters the battlefield, choose a color. Tap for that color. And then... Oh, I didn't have the white one. I know I have a lot of these cards IRL. A lot of the Kamigawa set. It has Flying, Vigilance. When it out of the Dawn Sky dice, choose one. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. Put any number of non-land permanent cards with total mana value 4 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. Or put 2 1/1 counters on each permanent you control that's a creature or vehicle. Rito's Sentinel. When Rito's Sentinel enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards. 3. Put a target card from your graveyard to the bottom of the owner's library. And then Thirst for Knowledge. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless the card is an artifact. Ryu Storm Edge. First strike, whenever samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, untap it. If it's first combat phase of the turn, there's an additional combat phase after this phase. Turns into a 4/4 with the alchemy. Oh, this one got a lot of firsts in this one. When enchanted artifact, Temeo's Compilation. Flash, enchanted artifact creature or planeswalker. When Temeo's Compilation enters the battlefield, tap enchanted permanent. If it's an enchantment, unattach it. Enchanted permanent loses all abilities and doesn't untap during controller's untap step. We have Ambitious Assault. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. If you control a modified creature, draw a card. Acquisition Octopus. Whenever Acquisition Octopus or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Reconfigure 2. Target permanent you control gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. You gain +2 life. And Mythic card. Mythic Wild card. Aki, Ember Keeper. Whenever a non-land modified creature you control dies, create a 1/1 colorless spirit creature token. Then we have High Speed Hoverbike. Flash Flying. When High Speed Hoverbike enters the battlefield, tap up to 1 target creature. Eater Virtue is a good card. Wanderer's Intervention. Wanderer's Intervention deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Then Aki Ronin. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. And another Shrine. I think that's the 3rd one. Jukai, Naturalist. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. And then Anchor to Reality. As an additional cost to this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Search your library for an equipment or vehicle card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. If it has mana value less than the sacrificed permanent mana value, scry 2. Light Pause, Empowered Voice. Whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, if you cast it, you may search your library for an aura card with mana value less than or equal to an aura with a different name than each aura you control. Put that card onto the battlefield, attach to Light Pause, Emperor's Voice, then shuffle. Another Shrine, baby. Then we got Kami of Transience. Trample. Whenever you cast an enchantment spell, put a 1/1 counter on Kami of Transience. At the beginning of each end step, if an enchantment was put into the graveyard from the battlefield this turn, you may return Kami of Transience from your graveyard to your hand. Discover the Impossible. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Exile one of them face down and put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. Then you may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost if it's an instant spell with mana value 2 or less. If you don't, put that card into your hand. Then we have Jukai Trainee. Whenever Jukai Trainee blocks or becomes blocked, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Okiba Reckoner's Raid Saga. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Happens twice, and then you exile for a 2/2 menace vehicle. Vehicles you control have menace. Replication Specialist is a flying 3/4. Whenever a non-token artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1 generic, 1 blue. If you do, create a token that's a copy of that artifact. Alright, and then we have Mech Hanger, which is good for a vehicle deck that I'm planning to make. Just tap for generic, and then it taps for any color spent on a pilot or vehicle. And then pay 3 tap, and vehicle becomes an artifact creature till end of turn. We have Undercity Scrounger. Taps for a create a. Hold on, let me reset my model. We have Undercity Scrounger. Create a treasure token. Activate only if creature died this turn. And then reveal for Shingeki Jukai Visionary. And for these ones, let's do a super pack and open all 10 of them. Alright. Favor of Jukai. Enchant artifact or creature. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets +3/+3 and has reach. Channel. Discard Favor of Jukai. And target creature gets +3/+3 and gains reach until end of turn. Harmonious Emergence. Enchant a land you control. Enchant a land becomes a 4/5 green spirit creature with vigilance and haste. It's still a land. Its enchanted land would be destroyed. Instead, sacrifice Emergence, and the land get indestructible until end of turn. The Harmonious. Antecessor's Arrest. Enchant permanent. Enchanted permanent can't attack, block, or crew vehicles. Its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. Clawing Torment. Enchanted artifact or creature. Enchant artifact or creature. As long as enchanted permanent is a creature, it gets -1/-1 and can't block. Enchanted permanent has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life. Coiling Stalker. When it's a ninjutsu. Whenever a Coiling Stalker deals combat damage, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control that does have a 1/1 counter on it. Doesn't have a 1/1 counter on it. Another Coiling Stalker. Spell Pierce. Counter target non-creature spell unless the controller pays 2. Another Intercessor's Arrest. Shoot Up. Until end of turn, target creature or vehicle becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness. 4/5. Draw a card. Return to action. Until end of turn, target creature gets a +1/+0 and gains lifelink. And when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control. Moonfolk Puzzle Maker. Flying. Whenever Moonfolk Puzzle Maker becomes tapped, scry 1. Imperial Recovery Unit. Whenever an Imperial Recovery unit attacks, return target creature or vehicle card with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Patchwork Automaton. Ward 2. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, put a 1/1 counter on Patchwork Automaton. Naomi, Pillar of Order. I don't remember seeing this one. Whenever Naomi, Pillar of Order enters the battlefield or attacks, if you control an artifact and an enchantment, create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with vigilance. That's actually pretty cool. Alright, first card revealed is a rare wild card. Second one is Life Pause, Emperor's Voice. Then Farewell. I need more of those. Goro Goro, Disciple of Ryusai. Fable the Mirror Breaker. I actually have some of these in real life. They're pretty good. Create a 2/2 Goblin Shaman creature token with whenever this creature attacks, create a treasure token. Then it goes to you may discard up to 2 cards. If you do, draw that many cards. Exile it and becomes a pay 1 tap creature. Create a token that's a copy of another target non-legendary creature you control, except it has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Brilliant Restoration. Also need more of those, which is good. March of Reckless Joy. As an additional cost to this spell, you may exile any number of red cards from your hand. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each card exiled this way. Exile the top X cards of your library. You may play up to 2 of these cards until the end of your next turn. Hidatsu, Devouring Chaos. Legendary creature, Ogre Demon. Pay 1 black, sacrifice a creature, scry 2, then pay 2 tap, exile top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Hidatsu Devouring Chaos deals damage equal to that exiled card's mana value to any target. Another reality chip, and finally, Greasefang Okiba Boss. At the beginning of combat on your turn, return a target vehicle card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of your next end step. Alright, that's all of those ones. We'll save these for another day. But it's time to actually play a game. Let me just... Could have sworn there was a way to add a marker here, but I might be wrong. Alright, we're going to play Historic Ranked, and this is going to be my Shrines Work in Progress one. Alright, this is a okay hand. It's actually got better with that one coming in. We're gonna go for blue. Let's go with that. We can play that. we'll play this and go for a white. And attack. And do absolutely nothing. Oh, it's another shrine player. That's actually interesting. I rarely see shrine players. Let's play that so we can get out a shrine. That'll be trouble once he gets 4 out, because I can just take out that. But until then, this will be able to just clear him. And then let's put that, and then we don't. That's the red, so we need green, blue, green, white, black, green. We need. Let's go with more white so we can get that off. He's probably got something for that. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Running 137. I wonder what other combos they're running in there besides Shrine, or if they have anything besides that. I'm running 76. They seem like they're mana screwed. Are they just gonna time out? Oof. If only there was a way to report. At least I don't know there is. I hate when people do this. They're not gonna discard 3. Ooh, they already got rid of that. Let's go with that. Yeah, they walked away. Let me play. I wanna play. Easy, boys, easy. Rank up. I usually lose steam around Plat 3, Plat 2. Getting into gold is the easy part. Like getting out of gold is the easy part. Maybe that the mulligan. Yes, this is a good one. 4, play this, then play this, get that out. Play that, play this, then that. Hopefully there. Let's throw that away. Hey, they got a Kamigawa. Sleeves. They play that, get that out there, make that indestructible. Yo, look at him go! So much cooler than rare. Attack! Dance. Whenever Urberg. Scavenger into the battlefield, exile. Let's go with the blue. Tap this for that. And let us attack. No, my farewell. I don't need it. It's good to have it. Dude, I wonder if their man is screwed. Rude. What is taking so long? Alright, so we got, I think we need another green. I should have done that one first. Dang, took my rogue class. And another fine. This will be good. I can take that out. Let's take action. Gonna discard you. If I survive 3 more turns, I win. Minimum. On just passive damage to him. I only have 1 creature in there, so that... Alright. Just more lands, which is good. And bad, but also good. I think I win right now. 2, 4, 6. Double taps that. They don't counter that. If they don't get rid of that right now, I win. Because I'm going to pull out the Life's Origin. Which give me 2 more, which will do 6 damage. Unless it was exiled, which it was not. They might know that they're about to lose, so they're running the clock out. Just to be a stinkhead. But they've been doing the clock stuff the whole game, so I don't know. Let's do 1 more game, probably. I can. We'll keep it. Put a green, get that. And maybe they'll think I'm a Simic player. I need one more land, hopefully white. Nope. No mana. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Most of the time, I lose. That was a quick one, so we're gonna go another one. The Azorius Senate is responsible for establishing, refining, and enforcing the extensive legal code by which all of Ravnica abides. Cancel. Play. Begin. Yes, this will actually be pretty good. So we go green. Actually, I don't have. Blue, black, I need red. That is not good. Alright, that was also a quick one, so we're gonna run back one more time. We'll keep it. It'll be a slow go, but red. Life gain is stinky. I think I've lost this one already too. One more time. Dang, I already dropped back down to gold 3. Mulligan. Alright, one more and I can start. Oh, there. A lot of cards in their deck, so milling them is not the go-to. Hey, I pulled that card earlier today. I like this card. It's nice. The art's nice. Good game. Dude, it was easy, dude. It was easy. One more game, you think? This is a poopy hand. This is a not so good hand, but I'm gonna keep it. Commune with Spirit. Oh, he's using Kamigawa cards. That's nice. Yo, is he also a Shrine deck? Or did he steal that from me? Now you reveal it. So he's a Shrine deck too. That's pretty neat. Second Shrine deck I fought today, actually. Let us put that down. Then we're gonna draw cards. It might be an enchantment deck, not specifically a Shrine deck. I'll lose this game. Alright, alright. One more game. Mulligan. Solot. Is it blue? Do this right. I can wipe his board state. At the cost of that. Because next round I'll be able to play Farewell, exile everything. I think I got this. Ooh, are they giving up? Gotta love it when people do this. Come on. Die gracefully. Alright, that is where I think I'm going to call it. It's been 4 hours, and I'm trying to go for 4-hour streams. It's been almost 4 hours, but you know what I mean. Let's do this first. Mastery. Which one was I doing? Confirm those. Boop, boop. Lead pipe and homicide investigator. So let's go here. Have a good one, boys and girls. See you next time.